A man named Daniel once spent an entire month trying to figure out why he never seemed to have any money. His income wasn't terrible. His bills weren't outrageous. He wasn't gambling. He wasn't making reckless financial decisions. And yet, every few weeks, his bank account looked like it had been hit by a storm. Money came in, money went out, and somehow nothing meaningful remained. So one evening, frustrated and confused, he opened his banking app and looked through every transaction from the previous month. Not because he expected to discover something shocking, but because he genuinely had no idea where his money was going. What he found changed the way he viewed money forever. There wasn't one massive mistake. There wasn't one disastrous purchase. There wasn't a single event responsible for his financial situation. Instead, there were dozens of tiny decisions. A meal here, a subscription there, a quick online purchase, a convenience fee, a delivery charge, a small impulse buy. None of them looked dangerous on their own, but together they told a story. And that story explained why he felt stuck. Because what was keeping him broke wasn't a lack of income. It was a lack of awareness. And that leads to one of the most important financial truths you'll ever hear. People rarely become wealthy because of a single decision. They become wealthy because of thousands of small decisions repeated consistently over time, which means there is one daily habit that quietly separates people who build wealth from people who struggle financially for decades. It's not investing. It's not budgeting. It's not earning more money. Those things matter, but they all come later. The habit comes first, and the habit is simple. Pay attention to your money every single day. Not once a month, not when a bill arrives, not when you're worried. Every day. At first glance, that sounds almost too simple. How could something so small have such a massive impact? The answer lies in human psychology. Researchers have long observed a phenomenon known as the monitoring effect. Simply put, people tend to improve behaviors they consistently measure. People who weigh themselves regularly often make healthier food choices. People who track their workouts tend to exercise more. People who monitor their spending become more intentional with money. The act of paying attention changes behavior, not because someone forces themselves to change, but because awareness creates accountability, and accountability changes decisions. This is where things become interesting. Most financial advice focuses on outcomes. Save more, invest more, spend less, earn more. But outcomes are usually the result of systems, and systems begin with awareness. Imagine trying to navigate a city without knowing your current location. No matter how detailed the map is, you can't create a route if you don't know where you are. Financially, many people live exactly this way. They know where they want to go. They want freedom. They want security. They want investments. They want a comfortable retirement. But they have no idea where they currently stand. So every decision becomes guesswork. And guesswork is expensive. One of the biggest reasons people remain broke is not because they lack intelligence. It's because money is designed to become invisible. Think about how different spending feels today compared to 30 years ago. Money used to physically leave your hand. You could see it, feel it, count it. Today, a purchase can happen with a fingerprint, a tap, a swipe, a single click. The friction has disappeared. And when friction disappears, spending becomes easier. Behavioral economists have repeatedly found that people spend more freely when using digital payment methods compared to cash. Not because they're irresponsible, because the psychological pain of spending becomes weaker. The transaction feels less real. And when spending feels less real, awareness declines. This creates a dangerous cycle. The less aware you are, the more likely you are to spend impulsively. The more impulsively you spend, the less money remains. The less money remains, the more financial stress you experience. Then stress drives emotional spending. And the cycle repeats. But daily awareness interrupts the cycle. Suddenly, purchases stop existing in isolation. You begin connecting today's decisions to tomorrow's consequences. And that changes everything. Consider a simple thought experiment. Imagine two individuals earning exactly the same income. Both receive the same paycheck. Both have similar expenses. Both start with the same financial position. The first person checks their finances once every few months. The second spends 5 minutes every evening reviewing their money. Nothing complicated. No spreadsheets, no advanced financial models, just awareness. Who do you think will make better decisions over the next year? Who notices unnecessary subscriptions first? Who catches billing errors? Who sees spending patterns developing? who recognizes lifestyle inflation before it becomes dangerous, who adjusts faster when circumstances change. The second person gains an advantage that compounds, not because they're smarter, because they're informed. And information creates better decisions. What most people don't realize is that wealth is often built through prevention. We tend to think wealth comes from extraordinary actions, the perfect investment, the perfect business, the perfect opportunity. But many wealthy individuals accumulate significant assets simply because they avoid countless small mistakes, mistakes that quietly drain financial progress. A leaking bucket doesn't become empty because of one large hole. It becomes empty because small leaks remain unnoticed for too long. Money works the same way, and daily awareness helps you spot the leaks. The real problem begins when people confuse income with financial health. A higher income can improve your life, but income alone doesn't guarantee wealth. History is full of athletes, entertainers, executives, and entrepreneurs who earned enormous amounts of money and still ended up financially struggling. Why? Because income and awareness are not the same thing. Someone earning $50,000 with strong financial awareness can often build more wealth than someone earning $200,000 with poor financial awareness. Because wealth isn't determined only by what enters your life. It's determined by what stays. And what stays is largely influenced by daily behavior. This is where financial identity enters the conversation. Most people think financial success is about knowledge, and knowledge certainly matters. But identity often matters more. People act consistently with who they believe they are. Someone who sees themselves as financially responsible naturally pays attention to money. Someone who sees money as chaotic or stressful often avoids looking at it. That avoidance creates blind spots, and blind spots create problems. Ironically, many people avoid checking their finances because they're afraid of what they'll discover. They fear seeing low balances. They fear confronting mistakes. They fear feeling guilty. But avoiding information never improves reality. A person doesn't become healthier by avoiding medical checkups. A company doesn't become profitable by ignoring financial reports. And an individual doesn't become wealthy by refusing to look at their money. Awareness can feel uncomfortable initially, but discomfort often precedes improvement. The first step toward control is visibility. Once something becomes visible, it becomes manageable. And once it becomes manageable, improvement becomes possible. There's another reason this habit is so powerful. It changes your relationship with time. Most people dramatically underestimate the impact of repeated financial decisions. The human brain is naturally wired for immediate rewards. We experience today's pleasure more intensely than tomorrow's benefit. Psychologists call this present bias. It's one of the most powerful forces shaping financial behavior. A purchase today feels tangible. Future wealth feels abstract, which is why people often sacrifice long-term financial progress for short-term satisfaction. Daily financial awareness helps bridge that gap. You begin seeing patterns. You begin recognizing trends. You begin understanding how today's actions influence future outcomes. Money stops feeling random. It starts feeling connected. And once you see those connections, better decisions become easier. Not perfect decisions. Better decisions. That's an important distinction. Financial success is not about perfection. No one makes perfect financial choices. Everyone wastes money occasionally. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone buys things they later regret. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is direction. Small improvements repeated consistently create extraordinary outcomes. Imagine improving your financial decisions by just 1% each day. That sounds insignificant, but over years, the impact becomes enormous. Not because of any single decision, because of accumulation. Accumulation is the hidden force behind almost every form of success. We understand it when it comes to investing. A small investment grows through compounding, but behavior compounds too. Habits compound. Decisions compound. Awareness compounds. And so does ignorance. Every day you ignore your finances, uncertainty grows. Every day you pay attention, clarity grows. One path creates confusion. The other creates control. This is why the wealthiest people often maintain a surprising level of awareness around money. Not because they need to, because they understand something most people overlook. Money flows where attention goes. When attention disappears, inefficiencies grow, waste grows, problems grow. When attention increases, opportunities become visible. efficiency improves, progress accelerates. The habit itself is simple. 5 minutes, maybe less. Check your accounts. Review recent transactions. Understand where your money went. Understand where your money is going. Ask yourself one question. Did today's spending move me closer to the life I want or further away from it? That single question can transform financial behavior because it shifts spending from automatic to intentional. And intentionality is one of the defining characteristics of wealth builders. Not because wealthy people never spend money. Many spend generously, but they spend deliberately. Their spending aligns with priorities. Their money has a purpose. Their decisions support a larger vision. And that's ultimately what separates financial progress from financial stagnation. Not luck, not genius, not secret investment strategies, awareness. Because awareness creates control. Control creates better decisions. Better decisions create better outcomes. And better outcomes repeated over time create wealth. The irony is that the habit powerful enough to change your financial future doesn't require more money. It doesn't require higher income. It doesn't require special skills. It doesn't require perfect timing. It simply requires attention. Every day, a few minutes, a small act repeated consistently. And that's what makes it so powerful. Because while dramatic financial transformations make great headlines, real wealth is usually built quietly, one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one day at a time. The people who eventually achieve financial freedom are often not the people making the most spectacular moves. They're the people making the most consistent ones. And consistency begins with awareness. So if you're waiting for the perfect investment, the perfect side hustle, or the perfect financial breakthrough to change your life, consider this. The most important wealth-building habit may not be something you do once. It may be something you do every single day. Because staying broke becomes incredibly difficult when you know exactly where your money is going, exactly why it's going there, and exactly how every decision fits into the future you're trying to build. And that future doesn't change all at once. It changes the moment you start paying attention.